Good evening and welcome. You're watching News Central now on News Central Television. My name is Mazino Apil. The top stories this hour. Senate advances bill to ban foreign currency use in the country. House of Representatives to invite military chiefs over alleged unlawful detentions by 177 Nigeria Army Battalion in Nasarawa State. Military drone strike kills 15 civilians on Sudan's closed highway. The details coming up now. News Central now at this hour begins at the Parliament, where the Senate has advanced a bill to ban the use of foreign currencies for payments in Nigeria. Sponsored by Senator Ned Nwoko, the bill proposes amending the Central Bank Act of 2007 to ensure all transactions, including salaries, are conducted in Naira. Senator Nwoko says reliance on foreign currencies like the dollar and pound undermines the Naira's value and worsens economic challenges. He described the practice as a colonial relic that threatens Nigeria's economic independence. The proposed law aims to promote the local currency and strengthen the country's financial system. The bill has now scaled its first reading in the Senate. And so live to discuss this, we are joined by Alexa Wilcox, a financial analyst. Alexa, you're welcome. Good evening.
Nice to have me around. Thank you very much.
Indeed, it is nice to have you around, if you say so yourself. So let's ask you, how do you see the banning of the use of foreign currency impacting Nigeria's economy? Like they say, it's going to strengthen the Naira, both positively and negatively. What do you think? Could it lead to increased demand for the Naira, potentially boosting its value?
Unfortunately, we have a country that have domesticated our mentality to the dollar. How we get to this level, I really cannot understand how we got to this level, where we have domesticated our mindset and everything that we do to the dollar. You discover that today on the streets of Nigeria, if you ask why is the price of garri going up, they tell you the dollar has gone up. Why is the price of pepper? They tell you the dollar and all that. So I'm just asking, how did we get to this point when the dollar has become so much infused into our mindsets and makes us to look like persons that don't understand what they are doing? I do not think that this bill will see any light of the day. It might just be one exercise in futility because there's enough laws in our status books. The CBN had always said it over and over that the means of exchange in Nigeria is the Naira and not the dollar. But yet, even they in the CBN, NNPC, presidency, governors, everywhere, you see them floating dollars as if it is a no-man business. When it is clearly stated that the CBN has stated that over and over in all their publications, in fact, it is a law that the means of exchange in Nigeria is the Naira. But you go to some hotels, their rates are denominated in dollar. Schools, even in Abuja, in the seat of government, charges most of their fees. Some schools charges in dollar. Go to the airport, you cannot pay excess luggage with Naira. You must pay with dollar. So, and these things are in the open. It's not as if they are seeded. Dollar is flaunted everywhere. Dollar is used to trade some shops, I understand, in Abuja. You spend dollar. Some clubs, you spend dollar. So how did we get to this point that we have domesticated our mindset to the dollar? Is what I don't know. Well, let's hope that this bill will create an awareness to an already existing law. And maybe, just maybe, somebody somewhere will wake up and say, okay, let's start doing the right thing. And of course, that's when Naira will gain its rightful place in the part of world currencies.
So, Alexa, I'm worried for tourism and international trade. What are the practical challenges of implementing such a ban, especially on these sectors, tourism and international trade? How can a government ensure compliance and prevent black market activities?
No. You see, everywhere in the world, people travel, especially now that the dollar is the world denominated currency. People travel everywhere in the world. Tourists travel everywhere in the world with the dollar. So every country has received visitors, tourists, trade with dollar. But the moment you get into the country, the means of exchange is that local currency. So that is where you have bureau de change, either the official one or the unofficial ones, maybe the ones that the Malam, and so you are expected to convert your money into naira and pay for goods and services in Nigeria in naira. So it has nothing to do with tourists. It has to do with international trade. It is only that you must transact businesses in naira. Of course, tourists are not bothered. Tourists are not supposed to be transacting in foreign currency. It is if you don't have the naira and for instance, sometime I was in Accra, Ghana. Their hotel rates are denominated in naira, in cedis, sorry. And by the time I got to the hotel, I told them I've not changed cedis. I have dollars. They said fine. They converted it for me at their official rate and asked me to pay them the dollar, which is allowed. But the rate of exchange is the cedi. I was in Malaysia some years back. We wanted to make a deposit for the hotel. They refused to accept our dollar. They said you need to go and get us ringgit, which is the official currency of Malaysia. The hotel refused to take the dollar. They said go across there and then change it to ringgit. So we went across and then got ringgit for them. So this is how every country works. But unfortunately, we hold our laws in breach. And Nigerians, we just go ahead, even if I'm talking about regulators now, CBN officials, NNPC, those in government, those in Aso Rock, even the senator that is talking now, don't they share some things in dollar? So when we stop hurting ourselves, when we stop cutting our nose to spite our face, then our country will begin to have a rejuvenated life. I don't understand why we are so dollarize our economy, dollarize our mentality, make it so popular that every market woman knows the value of price of dollar every day. How did we get to that level?
Well, Alexa,
I think for me, it's something that we need effective orientation to get out of.
Alexa, so if the government's going to adopt these policies and procedures, what legal regulatory changes would be necessary?
Well, it's the CBN. The only legal entity with respect to currency is the CBN. So the CBN, their inspectorate or whatever department needs to rise up. It's not even something that is not. I don't think it's something that DS, or what they call them, ICPC or EFCC should get into. It's for CBN to be able to, make it clear and follow it up. Because, like I said, we hold our laws in breach. Because even those who are supposed to regulate are in breach of it. So who will not build the carts? If those who are supposed to implement are in breach of those laws, so who will not build the carts? So it's the only, if this bill is passed and is signed to law, it now takes the CBN to wake up from their slumber and then purge themselves of those tendencies, and then they can go ahead and implement, because Naira needs to have its rightful place. All this dollarization, people using dollar as a store of value, that is why our Naira is weak. Because people that don't even need dollar for anything just go about collecting dollar, storing it in their domiciliary account for what I don't know. So we are all enemies of ourselves. But of course, at the end of the day, who do we blame? The government. And the government needs to rise up and do what is right, so that they will stop blaming them for what they are not the cause of what is happening.
Do you foresee any resistance or consequences? How do you think the public will receive the ban?
Well, I will see resistance from the ruling class. I will see resistance from the bourgeoisies. I will see resistance from the senators themselves and those and their counterparts in the National Assembly, in the House of Rep. I will see resistance even from those in NNPC, those in even the CBN, because these are all those that are culprits. I will see resistance from high-class individuals who pay their children's school fees in dollar. Remember the Yaya Bello's episode that he has to go and change dollar to pay for his children's school fees in Abuja. So if this is happening right in the nose of the CBN, this is happening right in the nose of the CBN, of EFCC, of ICPC, of every regulatory agency that is supposed to protect us, it is happening right under their nose. So why would there not be resistance over this bill? Because if people today still in Nigeria decide to pay school fees in dollar, in pound sterling, the everyday man, the bourgeoisie, the politician, the rich man, even the poor man, even the middle class, chooses to attend those schools and pay in dollar. When it's sad. It's sad. Sincerely, it's sad. It's like we're all jokers in this country. I tell you the truth, it's sad. I just hope this man will be able to see this bill through, but don't fret yourself. There's going to be pushback. There's going to be resistance because you are going to either. It's like you are going to break the class ceiling. I mean, because most times they see them as a class thing. We pay in dollars. We pay in pound sterling. So there's going to be pushback, and those who corruptly use the dollar to corrupt themselves, there will be pushback. But I just hope somebody will want to do what is right in this country.
Well, Alexa Wilcox, I want to say thank you for joining us this evening with your expert opinion on the matter.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure. May God bless Nigeria, and may God continue to protect our troops. Thank you.
Indeed. Thank you. Now, staying with the Parliament, the House of Representatives has resolved to invite the Chief of Defence Staff, the Chief of Army Staff, and the Commanding Officer of the 177 Battalion over an alleged unlawful arrest and detention of a community leader in Nasarawa State. Honorable Mansour Soro, who moved the motion during Tuesday's plenary, explained that on December 9, 2024, the community leader Bello Badejo was arrested in Malia Town, Nasarawa State, by officers of the 177 Battalion of the Nigerian Army with no prior invitation or court injunction. He further stated that 1 week after, Badejo is yet to be arraigned, which signifies an unlawful act by the Nigerian Army and a violation of the fundamental human rights as provided in sections 34, 35, 36 of the 1999 Nigerian Constitution as amended. The service chiefs are to appear before the House Committee on Army, Human Rights and Justice on Thursday, 20th December 2024. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has demanded the immediate release of the president of Mietia Lakutalhore, Bello Badejo, from alleged unlawful detention by the Nigerian Army. Lawmakers have summoned the Chief of Defence Staff, General Christopher Musa, and the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, to appear before Key House Committee on Thursday, December 20th, to address the matter. Honorable Mansour Soro, who sponsored the motion, revealed that Badejo was arrested on December 9th in Nasarawa State without prior notice or court authorization. The House condemned the detention as a violation of constitutional rights and directed the military to apologize to Badejo. The arrest reportedly stems from a community dispute involving a retired military general. Now, the Nigerian Military High Command has announced plans to reintegrate surrendering bandits and terrorists in the Northwest. This comes as special forces have been deployed to combat the Lakurawa terrorist group operating in the region. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, disclosed this as part of efforts to neutralize the threat posed by Lakurawas and other criminal elements in the Northwest. The deployment follows a deadly attack by Lakurawa group on a community in Kebbi State in November, which claimed 17 lives. The initiative, tagged Operation Safe Corridor Northwest, is designed to rehabilitate and reintegrate repentant bandits into society. It mirrors the Operation Safe Corridor Northeast program launched in 2015 to de-radicalize, rehabilitate, and reintegrate former Boko Haram insurgents. We go on a break now, but when we come back, enhancing operational efficiency, Nigerian Army Chief pledges leadership by example at annual conference. We'll be back. And you're welcome back. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, has assured Nigerian Army personnel of his commitment to lead by example, promising that his words will always match his action. General Oluyede made the pledge on Monday at the opening ceremony of the 2024 Chief of Army Staff Annual Conference held at the Army Headquarters Command Officers Mess in Abuja. In his address, the Army Chief paid tribute to the late Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taurid Lagbaja, who had initially planned the conference before his passing. During the event, the COAS also presented life insurance checks to the next of kin of personnel who paid the ultimate sacrifice in service to the nation. Additionally, he handed over Hilux vehicles to regimental sergeant majors as part of efforts to enhance operational efficiency.
To this end, I shall lead by example, and my words will be my bound. I urge you to engage actively with your troops, ensuring that they are all motivated, prepared, and ready to take challenges head-on. Remember, as leaders, we must embody decisive action and set good examples that inspire the force.
And now to other stories. Away from that, weeks after emerging the winner of the November 7th presidential election in Ghana, the President-elect John Mahama has paid a courtesy visit to President Bola Tinubu at the presidential villa, Abuja. Now, this was disclosed by Tinubus' senior special assistant on social media, Dada Olusegun, on Tuesday. President Tinubu earlier in a telephone call to Mahama congratulated the president-elect with anticipation that his ascension to power for the second time would further bring stability to the economic community of West African states, ECOWAS. Ghana's Electoral Commission declared ex-president and main opposition leader John Dramani Mahama winner of the presidential election with 56.55% of the vote. Nigeria is preparing to reopen its embassy in Pyongyang, the capital of North Korea, following 3 years of closure due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The statement from the Russian embassy on December 11 reveals that Nigeria's country's charged affairs to North Korea disclosed the country's plan is in a meeting with Alexandra Matsegora, the Russian ambassador to the Asian country. The statement said both envoys had a thorough exchange of views on current issues relating to the Korean peninsula. Matsegora also expressed his country's wishes for the successful implementation of plans to restore the Nigerian diplomatic mission. North Korea shut down its borders in early 2020 over the COVID-19 pandemic, forcing foreign diplomats and international organizations to withdraw from the country. And President Bola Tinubu's presentation of the 47.9 trillion naira 2025 budget proposal to the joint session of the National Assembly, initially scheduled for Tuesday 17th December, has been postponed to Wednesday 18th December. According to Senate sources, the rescheduling was confirmed by a senior management official of the National Assembly. We also understand that an official statement regarding the postponement is expected shortly. The proposed budget is part of the 2025-27 medium-term expenditure framework approved by the Federal Executive Council last month. The framework includes plans for 9.22 trillion naira in new borrowing to address the budget's deficit. It also sets an oil price benchmark of $75 per barrel, a daily production target of 2.06 million barrels, and an exchange rate of 1,400 naira to the dollar. Earlier, we were joined by Inusen, Head of Research and Policy Advisory at Budget, who helped give further insight into the story.
More recently, the Shell $5 billion FID, but that's an exploration contract. And so you expect that the gains from that would begin to show, in the next couple of years, not immediate. So the gains are not immediate for those new investments in terms of the production numbers. If you also look at some of the legacy issues we've been battling, oil theft, though there have been significant improvements in the production numbers, but with regards to specific interventions to terminate or end, oil theft as a phenomenon in that sector, it doesn't seem like a lot is being done with regards to metering, whether it's the flow station or the wellheads, as the case may be, and complete fiscalization as the case may be. This should significantly stop, to a large extent, reduce oil theft, but we've not seen a lot of movement in that regard. And so it would be interesting to see what exactly is driving government's optimism to raise, oil revenue to those numbers. Government should be able to put all of its expenditure plans in the budget so that civil society, other accountability groups, the media can now use those numbers to track how exactly government is implementing its plans and programs across board. If I come to the digital economy or telecom sector, as the case may be, in terms of policy, it would seem that that particular ministry has spent a lot of time in drafting policy documents, but we've not really seen how that has translated to real impact on the ground, whether it's with regards to providing improved digital access for persons in hard-to-reach areas, improving broadband connectivity across board. We've been suffering from poor internet connectivity over the last couple of months from the service providers that currently exist. And so we do hope that more attention would be given in that regard on the ground.
Now, a lecturer with the Nnamdi Azikiwe University has been murdered in an attack by yet-to-be-identified gunmen. On Tuesday, Emmanuel Ojukwu, the UNIZIK spokesperson, confirmed the development. The victim has been identified as Fabian Osita Chinedu. Tochukwu Ikenga, the state police PRO, said the UNIZIK staff member was shot on Monday night at Aroma Junction in Oka. Ikenga, who noted that the murderers made off with the victim's car, said an investigation on the matter has already commenced. A report quoted a witness as claiming that Fabian was blocked off by another vehicle whose occupants proceeded to gun down the lecturer when he came out of his car to protest. He was a lecturer at the UNIZIK Business Administration Department. And now we head to Delta State. Since Olufemi Abaniwanda assumed office as the 22nd Commissioner of Police in Delta State 8 months ago, the State Police Command says it has achieved significant successes in combating crime and criminality. The Delta State Police Chief briefed newsmen at the presentation of his scorecard while parading suspects at the State Police Command headquarters in Asaba, Delta State capital, South Nigeria. The CP, who gave the breakdown of his success story, took advantage of the event to reassure residents of the state of crime-free Yuletide season.
Under my watch, the command arrested over 678 suspects, including 130 suspected armed robbers, 88 suspected kidnappers, 76 murder suspects, 229 suspected cultists, 54 suspects arrested for rape and defilement offenses, a total number of 150 firearms, which includes 32 AK-47 rifles, 27 Beretta pistols, 72 single-barrel locally made cut-to-size guns, and 19 pump-action guns were recovered. And lastly, a total of 5,042 rounds of ammunition cartridges were also recovered within the period.
Now, years ago, Delta State, South Nigeria was embroiled in several communal and ethnic crises, particularly in the Warri axis, which devastated the state's economy, prompting numerous multinational oil companies and investors to relocate from the state. To help revive its lost glory, sports is being used as a tool to promote socio-economic development and to unify the state, while also encouraging peaceful coexistence amongst the various ethnic groups in Warri and environs. In this report, News Central correspondent Osinazu reports that on the heels of this effort, more and more stakeholders are arguing, or rather urging, multinational companies that exited years ago to return to the city.
Between 1997 and 2003, a series of conflicts erupted in Warri, Delta State, involving the Shekiri, Ijaw, and Urhobo ethnic groups. These three major ethnic groups played host to the oil-rich city of Warri. The crisis is reported to have been caused by a decision by government to move the headquarters of Warri Southwest Local Government Council from the Ijaw town of Ogbojo to the Shekiri community of Ogidigben. In the aftermath of sustained pressure and bloodshed, the council headquarters was eventually restored to Ogbojo, thus restoring fragile peace in 2005. Before the peace accord was signed by the three ethnic groups, it was estimated that more than 200,000 individuals were displaced, houses were burnt, and thousands of lives were lost. With the return of normalcy to the once troubled city, various stakeholders, including government and non-governmental organizations, have introduced several initiatives to consolidate the peace in the area through projects and empowerment programs. One of such programs is the Delta State Peace and Unity Football Tournament initiative of the Center for Peace and Environmental Justice. This year's edition, which commenced at Ode Shekiri, featured various ethnic groups competing against each other, culminating in the grand finale at Orerope, where Team Shekiri emerged victorious, defeating Team Undokwa with a score of 3-1 and claiming the championship title. With 1.5 million. The National Coordinator and Center for Peace and Environmental Justice, Sheriff Muladi, who spoke on the essence of the tournament, stated that new talents have been discovered that can be absorbed into Nigeria's national team.
Teams implied: Delta Ethnic Peace and Unity Football Cup. The purpose is to foster and promote peaceful coexistence among the various ethnic groups. You will agree with me that some few years ago, Delta was engulfed with a lot of communal and ethnic conflict, especially in the warriors that have destroyed the entire economy of the state, that have made a lot of investment or investors to relocate from the state. So what we are trying to do is to restore that glory that we have lost through this football, because we discovered that football is one of the strongest tools, it's one of the strongest instruments you can use to galvanize, to harness, and to bring everybody together. While we're in this place, you cannot see the difference between the Jaws, the Shekiris, or the Robos. We are all here as Deltans. We are all playing together. So we play football for peace, we play for unity, we play for progress.
As efforts continue to reignite the buzz that Warri was known for, one call that resonates with many residents of Warri and its environs for multinational oil companies that relocated from the region to return, given that peace seems to have been restored to the once troubled oil city. In Warri for News Central, I'm Austin Azu.
To education matters now. The Speaker of Nigeria's House of Representatives has expressed optimism that the establishment of a Federal College of Nursing, a University of Education, including a College of Legal Studies in Kaduna State, northwest Nigeria, will help bridge the manpower gap being faced by the state. This was during the commencement of construction of 4 new educational institutions in Zaria, Kaduna State. Our correspondent, Idong Joseph, has more on this story.
Among the 4 projects commissioned are the construction of the Federal College of Nursing, the Federal College of Legal Studies, the College of Education, now converted into a Federal College of Education, and a campus for the National Open University, all located in Zaria, Kaduna State, northwest Nigeria. According to the Speaker of the House of Representatives, these institutions are designed to bridge the manpower gap and provide educational opportunities for individuals who may be unable to attend traditional schools for various reasons.
Kaduna State today has about 3 or 4 key areas where it has manpower shortages. One of them is the issue of health sector. We do not have enough qualified nurses and midwiferys in Kaduna State. We believe that Kaduna State, the northwestern part of Nigeria, require more and more health workers. And that's the reason why we decided, among many other alternatives, to establish a Federal College of Nursing here in Zaria.
The Emir of Zauzo, while commending the state governor for the timely approval of the land needed for the construction, expressed hope that once completed, The institutions will help solve some of the challenges the state faces.
To be enablers of these mega institutions, it means these institutions will inspire those young children also to do very well, so that at least they can gain admission into the tertiary institutions without difficulty. And these projects again open opportunities for addressing the major challenges that we have.
With an estimated budget of about 80 billion naira for the construction of these institutions, the Speaker says that the project is expected to be completed in 1 year and 6 months. In Abuja for News Central, I am Idong Joseph.
Now, December is usually a time for individuals and organizations, including Nigerian schools, to celebrate end-of-year parties. For these schools, end-of-year parties come at a price many parents are not willing to pay for the year due to the present economic downturn. News Central's Omolola Ololade spoke to some parents in Lagos, Nigeria, on the issue.
Many individuals and organizations look forward to the end of the year, as it is a time to reflect and review the year's hard work. Primary and secondary schools in Nigeria are no exception, as the end-of-the-year party provides an opportunity to celebrate the achievement of school authorities, staff and students and end the year on a good note. End-of-year party is a yearly tradition for schools in Nigeria, but the present economic situation may have affected this year's celebrations, as some parents choose to shun end-of-year parties while finding alternatives for their children.
With the economic situation now, the school fees and all that you need to prepare, there are so many things that you need to tone down. Even though we understand that the children want to have fun, the schools also want them to have fun, but it comes at a cost. And then, we'd rather shun and have a little get-together at home,
If you look at the cash flow and trying to maintain the house, the home, the bills from school is on the high side too, so one needs to be wise.
If it's on the high side, I will advise parents to please take their children out by themselves, because this money, you see schools requesting for 30,000 naira for Christmas party. It's not necessary because, it's just memories.
Most schools increased party fees by 50% owing to the increasing price of goods and services. Although some schools opted to cut costs to help parents reduce the burden, others claim cutting costs may affect the standard of refreshment and gift for students.
Things have gone very high. A lot of things have gone high. The food items, the venues, the rentals, all of it put together have gone very high. But we understand that we mustn't steal the memories from these children. We have to work together with the parents, collaborate with them. But the most important of this is to teach the children the essence of the season.
While many parents are already burdened with expenses that comes with the Yuletide and next term fees, cancelling end-of-the-year parties for their children may be a major way of cutting costs this Christmas, especially as they make plans for the new year. In Lagos for News Central, I am Omolola Ololade.
Now, renowned for his exceptional broadcasting skills, commitment to excellence, and dedication to mentoring and inspiring young broadcasters, Aremo Taiwo Alimi is a veteran broadcaster with over 5 decades of experience in the Nigerian broadcasting industry. News Central's Igbalani Omoni was at the celebration of this broadcast guru as media practitioners celebrated him at 80.
The event, which took place in Lagos, was attended by Alimi's prodigies, friends, colleagues, partners, and other stakeholders. The celebration was a testament to Alimi's enduring impact on the Nigerian broadcasting industry. Throughout his illustrious career, he has mentored and inspired generations of broadcasters, leaving an indelible mark on the profession.
When he came back from Ghana, he started working with the Federal Ministry of Works, was a technical supervisor, supervising road constructions, what have you, and at the same time doing freelance journalism, because That was his dream. Until in the 70s, when he had an opportunity of traveling to the United States to study communication. And when he came back, he joined the NTA. And one thing about him is wherever he went in the media sector, he set new pace.
Whether in terms of lighting, in terms of interview, in terms of pronunciation, in terms of the lower third, he will read the lower third and say that caption is wrong. Look at the grammar again. Kayode, call your boys, tell them that they didn't get that spelling right or that grammar. They could have shortened it and reconstructed the phrase this way. The man understands television in an incredibly awesome way, and I've learned a lot from him.
As part of the celebration, a book was launched in Alimi's honor, highlighting his remarkable legacy and contributions to the broadcasting industry.
We need to have many of these coming from elder statesmen, sharing their experience to the younger ones, to understand how things were before, and from there we might likely get solution to problems that we have now.
Yes, people doesn't seem to know, even though to sing his praise. But today we are all here today to sing his praise of his contribution to the media. I thank Aremo Oshoba for writing a very powerful foreword to this book. And that speaks, to the importance of this publication.
In his remarks, Alimi emphasized the importance of discipline and commitment to achieving success.
What's essential is that in broadcasting, the individual must have eternal commitment to the broadcasting industry. We need, as I said earlier, to have commitment to development in the land. We need to make sure that programs that will help the lives of our people eternally, we should be able to continue programs like that.
As it marks this significant milestone, many say Alimi's contributions to the industry will continue to inspire and motivate future generations of broadcasters. In Lagos for News Central, I am Igbelani Omoni.
Now coming up, military drone strike kills 15 civilians on Sudan's closed highway. We have the details after the break. Join us then. And you're welcome back. Now the news continues in East Africa, where the Sudanese army military has been accused of launching a drone strike which led to the killing of 15 civilians traveling in a dairy transport vehicle on the closed highway. An advocacy group comprising lawyers said the attack occurred on the Omdurman-Bara road linking Khartoum and North Kordofan state, a route shut down by the government in April after fighting erupted between the army and the Rapid Support Force, the RSF. The road, also known as the Export Road, was closed amid accusations the RSF was using it to transport looted goods and fighters. The army had warned that any movement on the road would be considered a military target. Now, National Institute of Risk and Disaster Management of Mozambique on Tuesday announced that the country has been hit by Cyclone Cheetos, a natural disaster that has so far claimed at least 34 lives. The cyclone first hit the country on Sunday at the Cabo Delgado province, where 28 people were killed. Another 319 people were reported injured by the cyclone, which brought winds of around 260 kilometers an hour and heavy rainfall of around 250 millimeters in 24 hours, the center said. Nearly 23,600 homes and 170 fishing boats were destroyed and 175,000 people affected by the storm. Cheetos struck a part of northern Mozambique that is regularly battered by cyclones and is already vulnerable because of conflict and underdevelopment.
Quanta mensaggi arna telefoni ayo chawa mensaggi tanko no machuru rabe pure la kukuwa bani tawele ke skola atamana lo yo atamana bana ko hi bana na atamana skola ntusiriale asina matoto kwa kana mayara kwa ko 10 maje skola ntusiriale mni tawele choni mu akunya pantuni tole ne prono tunoni maliliera benani bola maje nkumaje mapani mo na pitia maje muskola ntusiriale mu makunya pia lani waje mo Europoro perché mpaka manene nduko nroma la ni phewelo nroma la nacho la kujo nroma ni malilira ina ko la non kame kwani proni hole manaka withi nupa chomora non kame kwa khutuni huba vale so vano kumelelo mpaka.
Still ahead, 15-year-old girl kills 2 in U.S. school shooting. We have the details only if you stay with us after the break. Welcome back. Now, a 15-year-old female student was identified by police as the assailant who opened fire on Monday at a school in the U.S. state of Wisconsin, where a fellow student and teacher were killed and a suspected shooter was found dead. According to Sean Barnes, the police chief in Madison, the state capital, during a news briefing stated that 3 individuals were killed and 7 others were injured at the Abundant Life Christian School, a private Christian school with roughly 400 pupils. And now business. Inflation in Nigeria reached 34.6% in November 2024, indicating ongoing price pressures throughout the economy. The rise in food prices, transportation costs, and housing expenses continues to fuel inflation, yet many Nigerians remain optimistic about a potential slowdown in the upcoming months. However, the significant year-on-year inflation increases and the regional disparities in inflation rates highlight the challenges faced by policymakers and businesses. During a discussion on Business Edge, Felicia Awolope from investment research Macross Consumer Goods shared insight on Dr. Paul Alaje, chief economist and partner at SPM Professional, who suggested that pegging the naira could serve as a temporary solution to the inflation crisis.
Volatility is one thing that drives inflation figures for Nigeria too. Not just for core for the core index. There are food items that are imported into the country, which exchange rate would also have a bearing on. But there was a reason why the naira was floated, right? So where I'm coming from is that we have managed the exchange rate for a while. And what we have seen is that it just looks like we're covering a very fatal wound with, a small plaster. It is just us trying to, manage the outside while you understand, it's just like a cosmetic solution. So pegging the naira, managing, running that managed system for the naira was one of the reasons why we got to this point, because it was not.
Sports now. The Nigeria Premier Football League body has imposed the 3 million naira fine on Ikorodu City FC and ordered the team to play their next 2 home games behind closed doors. The sanction follows an incident involving an individual who slapped coach Sulaimon Camille, popularly known as Lama, of Remo Stars after the matchday 17 fixture between Ikorodu City and Remo Stars at the Mobalaji Johnson Arena. The league body has also directed the club to identify and ensure the prosecution of the assailant. These measures underline the NPFL's commitment to maintaining discipline and protecting officials and players within the league. And that's all the news this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. Senate advances bill to ban foreign currency use in the country, and House of Representatives to invite military chiefs over alleged unlawful detentions by 177 Nigerian Army Battalion in Nasarawa State. Military drone strike kills 15 civilians on Sudan's closed highway. Now, do remember you can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and of course on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. My name is Mazino Appeal.